What is going on, dudes? My name is Love13. I'm your coach of your Kansas City Nidokings, and today we have our Week 10 team prep versus the Omastars. So I'm super nervous for this match. They are the #1 team right now in the Delta Battle League. I'm super nervous. They have a 7-2 record, which also the Cloisters and the Swallows have, but they have the best difference of all three. So they are technically #1 in the freaking whatever you call it. I'm so nervous. Like, no joke, I was just sitting here and like, oh my god, I'm gonna be battling him soon. He'll be messaging me hopefully soon. So I'm gonna let you know why I built this team. Is actually, I had to build the team 2 times because apparently Showdown didn't save it, which does suck. So anyway, we're gonna get started here. So we start out with Ravager, who's been to so many games because he's such a useful mon. I'm really glad I dropped Mega Absol for him. As much as I love Mega Absol, it's one of my favorite Megas. Pinsir is now one of my favorite Megas as well. But as you see, we are running Earthquake, Quick Attack, Knockoff, and Return. So Earthquake, he's got that Heatran, which is a huge threat to this thing because I cannot touch it with anything else. So that's why I'm running that. May, instead of running Return, may run U-Turn. We'll see about that. Anyways, that's not that important. But Earthquake will obviously hit the Heatran pretty hard. It'll hit the Raikou extremely hard. And that's the one weakness. This thing, the Heatran and the Raikou, both of his weaknesses on the Omastars is covered by E-Quake, which is really freaking nice. And it doesn't really hit anything else, so there was no other reason for bringing that. So Quick Attack is for priority, obviously, and it becomes a flying type move, so I do get stabbed. So it moves up to base 60 power, which is a very, very nice move to have. So that's one of the reasons I'm running Quick Attack. I believe that's probably the only reason. It'll help me outspeed a couple Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it'll one-shot the Chestnut, being 4 times super effective. It'll do a lot of damage to that Venusaur, who's also a big threat that I have to overcome when it came to team building. But it'll do a lot of damage to his team. That's the whole reason I'm doing it, and it'll hit everything but the Heatran and Raikou for at least neutral damage. So it's very, very nice move to have. So Knockoff is there because Knockoff, it's a good way to knock off some of the items, just in case he's bringing like Rocky Helmet, Chestnut, or something like that. I don't even know. Maybe Scarf Raikou. That'd be very nice to get the Knockoff and knock the Choice Scarf off, so I would outspeed it. I don't think I still outspeed it if the Raikou is max speed at least. So anyways, that's not that important. But Knockoff will be very nice because it'll get, if the Diggersby's running Choice Band, Alumamull or Blissey are running frickin' leftovers, it'll do enough of that. And then the Murkrow with the Eviolite, I can knock that off. That'll be very nice. Scarf Crocodile, knock that off. Rocky Helmet, Escavalier, whatever the heck it has, knock that off. So Knockoff is a very, very good move to bring against this team. It's also super effective against the Gengar, and nothing but the Crocodile, I believe, resists it. So it's very, very nice. And the Murkrow, excuse me. But nothing resists it besides those 2 Pokemon, which is very, very nice. In return, because of Aerialate, it becomes a very strong flying type move for me to use. It ends up being base 153 power, I believe, because max is 102 power, and then you add the 51 because of stab. So it's base 151 power before anything else. So that's really nice. It'll be a very, very nice move. It'll hit his entire team hard. I think it'll even still hit that Raikou hard. It won't hit the Heatran very hard, I don't believe, just because Heatrans are kind of bulky. I mean, yeah, it's got like base 109 defense, so it's fairly bulky. Anyways, as you see, the EVs are running max attack. I don't know why I did that. But anyways, max attack, max speed, running an Adamant Nature because I'm not going to outspeed the Raikou, or the Gengar, or the Crocodile if it's Scarfed. That's only if it's Scarfed. And everything else I do outspeed, but the 2 Pokemon I'm not going to outspeed. I'm not going to outspeed no matter what, so I decided I don't really want to. There's no point making it jolly. Might as well just make it Adamant and do even more damage. So very, very nice stuff. And then the last 4 in HP, just in case it helps me live an attack, you know. Anyways, we move on to Dakota. So I keep doing that. I keep punching my hand like that during the team builders. I just need to keep my hand still, but it's hard for me to do when I'm super nervous. We're running an Assault Vest. Freaking Togekiss. I don't really know why I'm running Assault Vest. I didn't know because I put it on there and then I started to do I put in all the moves. I'm like, why am I doing Assault Vest? And then I realized, oh yeah, the Raikou. That means I'll be able to stay in against the Raikou, which is a very, very nice thing. The Blissey can also carry Ice Beam, I'm not super scared. I'm not worried at all, actually, about the Blissey. And then the Heatran could be special with, obviously, Lava Plume or, you know, Flash Cannon or something like that. So it could do a decent amount of damage. So Assault Vest was actually a very good plan on my part. So I'm really glad I brought it. As you see, we're running Serene Grace. So by maybe some chance we can get an Air Slash Flinch. Flamethrower has a chance to burn. So possibly we could get a Flamethrower burn or something like that on like the Escavalier or the Chestnut, which would be very nice if we don't kill them one shot with it. That's the reason I'm bringing it, just because I encountered a Pokemon like that. I wasn't really worried about them at all. The Mega Venusaur is another reason I brought Flamethrower, because if I can get a burn on that Venusaur, that would be super nice. A lot of residual damage on that thing, because it's super irritating to deal with, just because it's got the Thick Fat ability. So Air Slash will also do a pretty good amount of damage too, which is very nice. Overall, it'll do more just because of Thick Fat. So we're running a weird physical set. So we're running max special attack, and then I put 200 in physical defense, and the last bit in HP, running a bold nature. So the reason I'm doing this is obviously so I can just get some more physical defense in, just because he's got a couple Pokemon that are physically offensive that are kind of a liability to Dakota, such as the Escavalier. The Escavalier could be a big problem if I swap into it and it hits me with a physical move, so that's why I'm running more in physical defense. Heatran could be physical. I don't know what physical steel type move it gets, but it could have something like that, maybe like Metal Claw. I don't know exactly. Yeah, and we're running Assault Vest because I decided on a full offensive moveset rather than going like leftovers and then putting more in special defense. I just decided to run Assault Vest. So that is what we are doing here, and then Bold Nature to boost that defense even more. So next up we have our Assault Vested Roserade. So rocking that natural cure just in case I get paralyzed or something like that. I don't even know. Anyways, you see the moveset we're running? We're running Giga Drain because it's a very nice stab move. It'll hit Pokemon like it'll hit the Crocodile, it'll hit the Diggersby and the Alomomola for a good amount of damage. And Alomomola is a big problem because it's got such a high HP stat, and it's got really low defense stats, just a super high HP stat. So if we can hit it on the special side, which is weaker than its physical side, then we'll do even more damage, which will be very nice. So, Giga Drain is for that reason. Sludge Bomb is, once again, a very nice stab move. It'll do decent damage to the Venusaur, it'll do decent damage to the Chestnut, the Raikou, the Blissey. It'll do, I can get a poison on the Blissey, it'll be even awesomer. It'll do decent damage on the Alomomola, decent on the Murkrow. So, really, the Escavalier and Heatran obviously are unaffected. Gengar is -4 times effective against it. Crocodile and Diggersby do resist it being a ground type. I was thinking about swapping it. I decided on... So I did have Shadow Ball in here instead of Extrasensory earlier. Because I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think I should run Shadow Ball, but realizing it, if I run Extrasensory, I can hit the Chestnut. I have another thing against the Chestnut, the Venusaur, and the Gengar, when Shadow Ball would only really help against the Gengar. So, I thought around that, and I was very happy to set it on that. Dazzling Gleam is for the Crook. Obviously, it thinks it's going to be okay or something like that, which I don't think he'd swap that thing in on this thing anyway, just because of the Giga Drain, but, you know. And then Dazzling Gleam also does super effective damage against the Murkrow. So, very nice stuff. And you can see we're running a bulkier set. We're running max special attack, max HP, modest nature, and the last 4 in defense, because it has a really low defense stat. Once again, I do believe that they need to put a, I don't think I've actually said this in a video, but I do think they need to put an item like the Assault Vest in, for physical defense, such as like Knight's Armor or something like that. I think that'd be a very good idea, in my opinion. You can think what you think, but that's fine. Anyways, we're gonna move on to Kitty. So, Kitty is, obviously, we're bringing Kitty instead of Princess this week. That's just like, what? We're bringing Kitty, who is the original Electivire that I had, that I bred back on my original X game that I created, and Let's Played on the channel, which is absurd. And I named that because it was one of my first Pokemon I like to use in Wi-Fi. We're running a Scarfire this week. We did run one against the, on our second victory of the season, which was against the Wild Charge, and then I believe we ran this again the next week. I could be wrong about that, but I do think that is. But as you see, we're running a physical set. I would have loved to do a special set. The thing is, Electivire doesn't have as good of a special moveset as it does physical, and also has a better physical attack anyway. I decided to run Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Earthquake, and Ice Punch. I would have loved to go frickin' Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Earth Power. That would be sick, but sadly it doesn't get Ice Beam or Earth Power. So I decided to go physical because even though the real reason I wanted to go special because of that Alomomola, because like the Venusaur, you know, I don't even know. Because Venusaur is the smallest bit, Mega Venusaur is the smallest bit less of special defense than it does physical defense, so it'd be very nice to hit it on that side. So, anyways, Thunder Punch is obviously because it's a very, very nice stab move. It'll hit Pokemon like, it'll hit the Alomomola and the Murkrow for super effective damage. It'll hit the Heatran, Gengar, Escavalier, Blissey for neutral damage. Everything else is either it's not very effective or is unaffected by it. Well, not unaffected, but yeah, actually 2 of the Pokemon are unaffected, Crocodile and Diggersby. So, Thunder Punch isn't that great in that situation, but that's why I'm running Ice Punch. So, Fire Punch is for the Chestnut, it's for the Venusaur, even though it won't resist it, but it'll take less damage because of Thick Fat. It'll do decent damage to pretty much everything else. It'll do a lot of damage to the Escavalier, which is very nice. And then, yeah, pretty much the Alomomola does resist that, but that's not that big of a deal. Earthquake is a very nice move to bring in this situation. It'll hit that Heatran and the Raikou for super effective damage. Same reasons I'm bringing Ravager. Those are the biggest threats, quote-unquote, on his team for Kitty. But that's why I'm doing that. I maybe should have put Volt Switch on it for something, but I don't know. Maybe we'll swap it for Ice Punch. Ice Punch will is kind of for the Venusaur, the Chestnut, you know, the Crocodile, and Diggersby. So that's really the reason why I'm bringing that, and the Murkrow. Just so I have something to counter them. I may actually, in the long run, thinking about it, I may drop Fire Punch, but I like that for the Escavalier. So I really like Kitty's moveset. I don't want to change it up, but I don't know. I'd love to have gotten Volt Switch on there somewhere, but I was unable to. Now, as you see the moveset we're running a max physical attack, max speed set, just so we can outspeed as much as possible, because with the Scarf, we do outspeed everything that isn't Scarfed. But if he does Scarf Pokemon like the Raikou or the Gengar, both of those will outspeed Kitty. I don't believe Heatran or Crocodile will, because neither of them have very good speed stats to begin with. They're much lower than Electivire, so I do think that Electivire would outspeed in that situation. But we're running 4 in defense, obviously, just because that's his lowest stat. And it'd be nice if I can take 1 extra physical hit or something like that. Like, maybe a resisted hit or something like that would do a ton of damage or something from a Heatran. I don't even know. Anyways, yeah, that's where we're running what we are on Kitty. Now, Meow is a huge pivot in this team. This is, like, by far the Pokemon that needs to stay alive as long as possible. So, as you see, we're running a very different set than I typically do. I've never run Defog. We are running a special set, and we are also running Leftovers. So, really, I want to run the special set because it's got a much better special moveset, pretty much is what I want to say. Because Psychic is much more powerful than, like, Zen Headbutt or Psyshock, whichever one I wanted to run on that. But it'll do a lot of damage to the Venusaur, which is a huge, huge problem. It'll do a lot of damage to the Gengar. It'll do a lot of damage to everything but the Crocodile and Murkrow, who are unaffected by it. It'll also not do very much to the Escavalier or Heatran, but everything else it does pretty good amount of damage to, which is very, very nice. Earth Power is for the Pokemon like the Heatran or the Raikou who aren't very affected by it. It'll do a decent amount of damage to the Escavalier as well, which will be very, very nice. And, yeah. I was thinking about running Aura Sphere on here before, for the Crocodile and Diggersby, obviously, but I ended up not going for that. I ended up putting Defog on it instead, because I want Defog to get rid of rocks, because he has 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe he has 4 Rock Setters. I don't know. He has 3 if Diggersby can't learn rocks. So, he's got a lot of possible Rock Setters, which is very scary in my opinion, because as you see the team we're bringing, Ravager takes 50% once Mega Evolved, Dakota takes 25%. Nothing else is really super affected by it, but at the same time, I just want something to be able to get rid of the rocks, because I'm not running rocks on this team. And then Thunderbolt is obviously for just, like, do a lot of damage to that Alomomola. It'll do a decent damage to the Murkrow, you know. It'll do decent damage to the Gengar. I mean, obviously the Crocodile and Diggersby are not affected, and it'll do not very much to the Venusaur or the Raikou or the Chestnut. So, in the end, it's just kind of a safe play to put on there. It's just kind of nice to have. just to hit the Pokemon like the Alumamola or Murkrow, who do kind of counter this thing. So, as you see, we're running a max special attack match, max HP set, because I'm not expecting this thing. I don't want this thing. I'm not planning on it outspeeding anything. It can't, the IVs are right, I guess, or something like that. The EVs, whatever, doesn't really matter, but that's why I'm running what I am in Meow in the last 4 in defense, just because why not, I suppose. Anyway, yeah, because Murkrows are typically physical. But in the last Pokemon we are bringing is Perdra. So, Perdra really stood out when it came to his team. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there's nothing that really wants to take this thing on. Like, Raikou will not one-shot in any situation, especially because what we're running in special defense. But I'm not really worried in any situation. So, we got Perdra here with the Scope Lens and Sniper, obviously, boost crit ratio, and boost the damage that crits do. Outrage will do a lot of damage because it's base 120, and then Waterfall is a very nice stab move as well. Focus Energy, obviously, to boost our crit ratio even more, and then Toxic, just in case you send something in there and trying to stall me out, maybe like the Raikou, maybe like the Blissey or something like that, or the Alumamola, oh my goodness, and then just Toxic it and try to stall it out or something like that, which is very, very nice. So that's why we're running on Perdra. The only problem with Perdra, I've already said this before, is its move pool. It's got a terrible move pool for such a great Pokemon, so... Anyways, as you see the set we're running a very balanced EV spread, I suppose you could say. We're running max attack, and then we're running a pretty good amount in special defense, and then the rest in HP. So the reason that we're doing that is obviously for Pokemon like the Raikou, so I am able to sit in against the Raikou possibly. Maybe I can obviously live a Volt Switch, I believe, with over 50% health, which is very nice, and then I can get an Outrage or Waterfall off or Focus Energy right off the bat as soon as possible. It's very nice to have, and yeah, so obviously max attack so I can do as much damage as possible, and Animate Nature, once again, so I can do as much damage as possible. So that is the team we are bringing for the Omaha Omastars. I'm super nervous for this match, guys. It will be soon for me. It'll be actually quite soon, so I'm super nervous for the match. If you enjoy, like is always appreciated. Make sure you want to support your Kansas City Nidokings and pick up some merch. Links are always in the description below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, so appreciate it. And yes, thank you all so much for watching. And let's go, Nidokings.